Okay, take two. Stopped my camera because I thought I was going to have a group of people come this way, and they're playing basketball. So, yeah, I'm still don't like being on the phone. I mean, whether it's the phone or the actual video, when people are coming my way. Although if they're far enough away, then I won't worry about it too much. But it still bothers me. For now, anyway. Well, that actually makes me think about. I got my mile in. Makes me think about how a few weeks ago I was doing a video, and it was one of the first videos of this round 2 of the YouTube stuff. After I took a break and deleted everything and then put it back up, or after I put it all back up, all that fun stuff. So I had this video that I did, and in it, toward the end, I made a comment, or at least I think it was toward the end, I made a comment about how at one point when I was in middle school, I had to take all the posters down off my walls because it started freaking me out, the idea of being watched by people I didn't even see. And then it's like, I got to thinking about that. It's like, oh, well, that's kind of a little ironic, isn't it? Now that I'm messing around with this YouTube stuff. And if anybody watches these, or when anybody watches these, I'm not really aware of it. And now I'm kind of thinking that maybe that was my life preparing me for this endeavor, and how it bothered me back then. Especially, it's like, the idea of being able to hear stuff like before it happens, kind of a thing. And connecting with some of the things that always creeped me out, and now I'm doing something where that's actually a potential thing. Like, sure, right now as I'm doing this video, I have a nice 6 subscribers now. The first 3 traumatized me greatly. The second 2 were like, okay. And then the last one was like, cool. So there's some people that, I don't know, at least are interested in part of what I'm saying, I guess. Or at least don't dislike me. I don't know. Anyway. The original video that I started, I was thinking about how the idea of people saying things, but then the way they express them, it doesn't come across that way at all. Like, for example, recently, my mom and one of my aunts have said many, many times that every time they are around my grandma and I'm not there, she just goes on and on about how proud she is of me. And she made a comment about my butt looks like a teenager's. It's like, well, I mean, I guess if we want to think about it on that end, I'm getting closer to the size I was back then. I'm still a little heavier, but I was not athletic back then, so a lot of the weight loss has come from athleticism, which I always made fun of myself for during the whole roller derby thing, because who was I to consider myself an athlete, or to try to act like one, and that was just the voice in my head speaking to me. And then when I turned 40, I was playing roller derby. It's like, if I'm going to do this, I need to start taking it seriously and stop making fun of myself for it. And so, doing that, I started skating all the time by myself. And then realized I like skating more by myself than, I mean, it's not that I dislike skating with other people, especially like the derby group. It's just that I feel like I've been at the point for a while where whatever I say is just going to make me sound like a crazy person. Especially on the spirituality end. One of my best friends in the derby, probably at least a couple of them, will claim agnosticism over anything. And there's a feather. It's like, I surprised a bunch of people when I found out I went to seminary. Of course, I surprised a bunch of people when they found out I was in the military at any point in time. That was just... Anyway. Yeah. As I've been embracing the athleticism, obviously lost like 50 pounds because of that. Well, not just because of that. The universe was very strongly involved in starting it when I wasn't paying attention. And like the first 25 pounds anyway were accidental. And then it was just, I got addicted to skating. Like yesterday I skated 14 miles, the day before I skated 7. And the day before was kind of an afterthought. It was just like, I felt so gross from energy-wise throughout the whole day that I just felt like kind of like crap and decided that I should skate. And then when I did, I got really into it and I just kept going. Well, I mean, and also I did a video for like an hour. So, another thing that's changed about me. But anyway, going back to the thing with my grandma. She apparently talks about how proud she is behind my back. When I'm there, it very much feels not that way. And let's see, how do I even talk about that one? It's like very bitey, judgy, not pride and happy about. No. Jeez. At one point in time, this has been a couple years, but so my family is all like big time pros at forgetting everybody's name, and I have to go down the whole list of names before they figure out who you are. And whatever, it's kind of entertaining at times. One time, just she started calling me meathead. It's like, what the fuck is that all about? And she said it. My mom's youngest sister thought it was hilarious, and everybody was just kind of like, what the hell? Why is that what came up? Normally, it's the cycle of like names that, you know, I've been called Carol, I've been called Beth, I've been called Anita, I've been called Grandma by my cousins. Been called the dog's name. Yeah, whether you want Tracy, Holly. Yeah, it's not really any big deal, but a meathead? Where'd that come from? You know, how is that even something you go to? I think it's probably from a old TV show or something, but still, it was just kind of like, what the fuck? And when I started doing some of the healing process after I moved back up here and was going through the divorce process, like I really noticed how much she would, or how she sounded when she talked to herself. Because, what'd you do that for, dummy? That was stupid. And just a whole lot of that heavy-handed stuff. And then, in listening to her, I realized that I think that's where a lot of my crappy self-talk over the years has come from. Just hearing that all the time and resonating with that for some time, I guess. Or at least you hear it all the time, and then it just kind of becomes the inner voice or whatever. So it's like, well, that's garbage. It's like, I don't want to do that. And that has taken a long time to break from myself. But it's like when they talk about just how much she brags on me and stuff, it's like, I feel like she might say it, but when I'm around, she don't mean it so much. I think the bigger thing now is, since I refuse to be around my family if I don't have like all my protective stones on, and since I'm absorbing less of what they're saying and doing, I don't like it. And I don't think it's something that they are even necessarily cognizant of. I think they just don't like it. And I'm changing, I'm different. They don't know exactly why or how. Maybe they think I think I'm better than them. I don't know. That's not it. Just, I refuse to do the same shit that they're doing. But really hoping this wind is not as annoying as it sounds to me in this video. But we'll see. Anyway, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, right? But anyway, you know, when I'm around, it feels very bitey and like I'm being looked down on, really. You know, definitely not pride. And I think there's a lot of jealousy as far as, you know, I picked skating up at 38. I used to go to skating parties and stuff when I was in elementary school. And I think the last time I went was in high school. It was the summer PE thing. We went to the skating rink, had a little skating party, and I was 16, and it was on my birthday or the week of my birthday. So one of my friends got me was it Backstreet Boys Millennium CD or something like that. It's way back in them days. So, oh yeah. It was kind of fun having a little random birthday party, even though it wasn't really a birthday party. Yeah, anyway, I digress. After that, you know, I skated outside a couple times. I used to have different rollerblades. I used to have rollerblades. Then I got a pair of the rollerblades that Cesar Millan, Dog Whisperer, would wear. And those were very painful to use. Probably because I wasn't in shape for one thing. So they were short-lived, didn't have them for a long time. But it seemed kind of cool and different for a span of time anyway. So other than like a few odds and ends, I never really got big into skating until I threatened to do roller derby back before I turned 30. That was on my bucket list of things to do by 30, and then I didn't. So it became on my bucket list to do before 40. I think if I would have done it sooner, I probably would have had a bunch of derby friends that would have talked me out of marrying homeboy. Yeah, that wasn't a good idea. Anyway, I've said before, divorce was on my path, and that's just, if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. That probably wouldn't have been any better. Because the purpose of that was to force me into a situation where I allowed myself to be treated badly enough that I had to get to the bottom of it and then start digging my way out and figuring out how I allowed myself to end up with someone who was treating me like garbage. So yeah. When I was 38, that was when I actually joined the roller derby. I got really into it. But I still made fun of myself for thinking I was an athlete. And, the entire first year and a half, I made fun of myself the entire time. And it was shit. And there's a car coming down this road. Okay. Make sure there's nothing behind me. And so when I finally started taking myself seriously as an athlete, I guess I still really don't consider myself athletic, although I do skate a lot. But I try to make better decisions than I ever used to. Drink way more water and fruits and vegetables instead of all the sugary shit. But those weekly things that my family does, there's all the sugary shit you could possibly not want. And they don't ever coordinate, so there'll be like 5 desserts. It's like, I don't want that. It's just a lot of junk food. Okay, 34%, just checking. So yeah. But, to hear that she's talking about how proud she is of me, and then like today we had a cookout, and had a bunch of hamburgers and hot dogs over at my grandparents' house since it's Memorial Day. She sounded very bitey and judgy, but definitely not proud and happy to see me. And that's just how she talks about me when I'm not there. When I'm there, heaven forbid anybody think that was actually a legit thing. I don't know. Just interesting. Because honestly, when I'm around my family, it feels more like, okay, if the energies spoke actual words, it would be more, who the fuck do you think you are? You think you're better than us and all this shit. It's like, nope, none of those is accurate. But I have no desire to pick up those energies and keep them as my own, and that was something that I was used to do. So yeah, not choosing to take that on. But it feels like this pride she claims she has for me is displayed more in the exact opposite. It's like she's talking about being proud of me because if she said what she was actually feeling, it wouldn't sound very nice. And is what it is. As I've said before, I will never go around them without all my protective stones and shielding as much as I can of that toxic, bad vibes. I don't care how much they want to try to convince me of something otherwise. When I know that's not accurate, I know it's not accurate. So, and it actually, I think, makes it make more sense for me with why and how I picked up a lot of the toxic ideologies that I did throughout my lifetime, and why I've had so much that I'm having to work through on this side of it. Just from reading the energies and maybe not even realizing that I was reading the energies, instead of what I was hearing from what people were saying. It's like, watch this tarot reading at one point where it was talking about how, it was Kino Tarot, it was talking about how it was actually, I think, like a version of a relationship reading, and how my higher self, or something along the line of, I pick up on a bunch of energies and then carry them as though they were my own, and feel like I'm responsible for healing them just because I picked them up somewhere along the way. It's like, oh damn, that's accurate. Because I didn't know where half the ideas and stuff I was believing to be true came from. I just accepted responsibility for trying to appease everybody. Yeah. And that's not good. Now I'm realizing that I can only fix my stuff. I can only heal my stuff. Taking other people's garbage thinking on doesn't help them or me. It just pulls me down with them. And that's obviously less than ideal. I feel like, that's making it more and more clear how some of the bad beliefs that I have had to contend with have snuck in along the way. But really, on the skating end of things, the other day my mom started talking about how she used to skate all the time too. It's like, why did nobody want to talk about it or think to talk about it before it became something that I got into? Because obviously it had to come from somewhere, so it makes sense that it come through the family line. My brother was really into hockey, so there's ice skating. And then I got into roller derby. So here I am with my roller skates. And I like my roller skates better than the blades. I think I'm just better on them and they hurt my legs less. But part of that is the fact that I've been exercising. So it's building up. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing I was thinking about today. It's like, I'm at 3 miles, so it's like you're saying one thing, but I have no reason to believe that what you're saying is accurate, because it feels like you're just trying to, there's a whole lot of dissonance in what you're saying and what energy you're putting out there when I'm around. And it's not one of pride. Sometimes, honestly, it feels like where she used to talk negatively about herself all the time when I was around, it's like she's shifting it so it's bitier at me. I mean, it's nothing I'm gonna do about that. I'm just kind of processing the experience as I experience them, I guess. Because it's been that way with my parents for a while. And yeah, a lot of my family. Not all, most. But I don't know, I feel like my brother and I should have a conversation, because I think he's doing a lot of the same stuff I've always done that I never realized. And I think he might find, if I shared those experiences, that it's the same shit he's dealing with. Except for he's continuing to be around them all the time. So it's just becoming another one of his burdens to bear, even though it's not really his. He's just picking it up. See, I was thinking about that actually when Gracie has been bullied. But usually it's this one dude. And I think his older brother, for a little while. But the other day, she was all upset because somebody at her lunch table said, "Raise your hands if you think Gracie's annoying." And like everybody except for 2 people raised their hand. So, of course, she got her feelings hurt, naturally. And as I was thinking about that, it's like, you know what? I feel like the whole bullying thing is because there is something different about those of us who especially face the bullies to the degree that some of us have. And in our school careers, me and my brother definitely had our share, more than our share. And now Gracie's experiencing a lot of it. I feel like it goes along with that, like the toxic energies, the bad vibes, needing a witness to recognize them and call them out in some way or another. But to see it for what it actually is when it's coming your way, like I don't know what, but it's there because it needs somebody to witness it so it can be released from the collective system at large. So I was thinking that day that my brother told me about the girls at the lunch table, it's like, we are witnesses. We are people that, not that we enjoy seeing that stuff for what it is, but we can see it for what it is. And we allow the pain in our systems so that it can be released from the collective. And yeah, doesn't make it any easier. Still a pain in the ass to deal with, obviously. But I mean, that's part of why we're here, I guess. Anyway, hopefully that's coherent, and the wind isn't too much of a problem. I will find out, and maybe I will, maybe I'll post this, maybe I won't. We'll just see. I did that one the other day, even though the wind kind of was a pain in the ass at times. Because, you can still hear everything I said. So I'll just have to see what happens. But I'm going to get off of here so I can focus on my skating. Just because I want to focus on my skating, and because I don't want my phone to die before I'm done getting my miles in for the day. So yeah. So as always, I appreciate you, and until the next time, see you later.